Today, we're unwrapping 10 discontinued candies that defined our childhood. From the 1950s to the 1980s, the sweet, the strange, and the unforgettable. Tiered 1, Marathon Bar. The candy bar that lasted forever. The Marathon Bar was a glorious braided rope of chocolate-covered caramel and nearly a foot long. Launched in the 1970s by Mars, it even came with a ruler on the package to prove its size. Kids loved stretching it out, sharing bites with friends, or keeping it all to themselves. It disappeared in 1981, possibly because it took too long to make, or too long to eat. Still, for those who remember, no candy felt as big or as fun. 2. PB Max, the peanut butter powerhouse. PB Max arrived in the late 80s and quickly won over kids who craved something richer than a Reese's. It had crunchy cookie layers, thick peanut butter, and a chocolate coating. Messy, massive, and mouth-watering. Strangely, Mars discontinued it in the 90s, reportedly because some of the Mars family didn't like peanut butter. Yes, really, peanut butter fans never forgave them. 3. Reggie Bar, the candy for baseball royalty. Named after baseball legend Reggie Jackson, this 1970s bar was a chocolate-covered brick of caramel, peanuts, and nougat. It was so popular, fans threw them onto the field during Reggie's games. It had a short run, but it was sweet, sporty, and full of personality, just like the man himself. Today, it's a collector's item and a memory of a time when even candy bars could be celebrities. 4. Bonkers, the fruity candy that hit. Hard Bonkers were soft fruit chews with a tangy filling, and if you remember the commercials, they were wild. In each ad, a giant fruit would literally fall on people after a bite. Launched in the 1980s, Bonkers packed an intense flavor punch that made them fun and a little over the top. Despite a cult following, they vanished by the mid-90s. Rumors of a comeback never quite materialized. 5. Astro Pops, rockets you could eat. Shaped like rocket ships and as colorful as a space poster, Astro Pops launched in the 1960s during America's space craze. Layered with red, yellow, and green flavors, they were poured hot into the wrapper and hardened into cone-shaped treats. But in the 2000s, after years of being a dentist's worst nightmare, they disappeared. Still, those pointy pops felt like a trip to the moon on a stick. 6. 7-Up Bar, a candy box in a wrapper. Not to be confused with the soda, the 7-Up Bar was a chocolate bar split into 7 different sections, each with a unique filling: cherry, caramel, coconut, fudge. It was like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates in a single bar. Introduced in the 1930s and discontinued by the 70s, it vanished partly because it was expensive to make. But no kid ever forgot the thrill of not knowing which flavor you'd bite into next. 7. Razzles. First it's a candy, then it's a gum. Razzles came out in the 60s with a gimmick kids adored. It started as a candy and turned into gum. The fruity pieces came in little waxy pouches, and the flavor was gone almost as fast as it appeared. Still, it was part science experiment, part sweet treat. It stuck around for a while, but like many novelties, it faded. Today, it feels like a time capsule of childhood curiosity. 8. Garbage candy, sweet trash with a twist. Only in the 1980s could you sell tiny candy shaped like trash in a mini plastic garbage can and make it cool. Kids loved the weirdness. Banana peels, soda bottles, and chicken bones, all made of sugar. It was goofy, gross, and glorious. A perfect match for the prankster spirit of the times. Discontinued in the 90s, it's now remembered as one of the most playful candy concepts ever. 9. Bar None, the fancy chocolate bar. Launched in the mid-80s, Bar None was Hershey's answer to upscale European chocolate. A crispy wafer bar layered with cocoa and covered in chocolate. Its rich taste and unique texture gave it a grown-up feel that kids still loved. But Hershey reformulated it in the early 90s, and fans didn't bite. It quietly disappeared, leaving behind the memory of something smoother, darker, and classier than the average bar. 10. Tartan Tinies, tiny, tangy time machines. These small, chalky candies came in bright neon colors and packed a tart punch. They rattled in their paper tube, making a sound every kid in the 70s knew by heart. Simple, cheap, and fun to pour straight into your mouth, they were a lunchbox staple. They disappeared when formulas changed and taste shifted, but the memory of those tiny, tangy bites is still strong.